Luxury fashion has been so boring recently. Here are things I would actually want to see from brands. Hi guys, my name is Celesta. We talk about all things luxury shopping and handbags. If you love those things, make sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. I do post videos twice a week. So I can't be the only one that thinks this way. And I know I am not these brands' target demographic. I shop at these brands a couple times a year. I know that they aspire to have the customer that is spending, 100, 200K plus at each store each year. I, unfortunately, am not at that level. And I think the interesting thing is that the majority of their customers are also not at that level. They're people like us that are shopping there a couple times a year. We buy things that we really want to buy. We may even, around and play the Hermes games, but we are not dropping 250 grand and we're not invited to these VIC events. We're really just buying things that we want. And I've kind of talked about this before on TikTok, and I feel like this is such a first world problem. I want to spend money. I have this itch to spend money because I'm like, I haven't gotten a bag in a while. Typically, I buy about 4 to 5 luxury designer bags a year for the last couple years. And this year, I have gotten one. We're in September. This is crazy. And what it really comes down to is that there's nothing exciting to buy. There's nothing that I want to buy. Outside of this, there's a lot of things going on outside in the world that you're like, homegirl, people are dying. Obviously, LVMH, I think Kering also this year has reported a decrease in sales. So can't be a surprise. There's so much going on in the world, with the economy and the job market and everything. But I think it also boils down to the fact that there's nothing exciting to buy because people who want to shop will shop anyways, especially when you're considering the luxury market. So here are a couple things I am thinking, and I think that I'd like to see more of these, and let me know as well in the comments if there's anything that you guys feel you also want to see more of or less of. Without further ado, let's get into it. I think the first one is going back to your roots. I feel like a lot of these brands are just coming out with what is mainstream, what is popular right now. They're not really sticking to their brand's heritage, and it's starting to look like a lot of the brands look and feel the same. I feel like there's a bag that I can get from Louis Vuitton, but I could also get that same bag from Gucci. I can then get the same bag from YSL. So there's so many brands to pick from. And I think a good example of this is kind of like a card holder, right? Because I could buy the same, 2-slot card holder from Louis Vuitton. I can get it from YSL. I can get it from Chanel. I can get it from Gucci. I can get it from anywhere. But why should I get something from a certain brand? I think the brand really needs to go back to their own heritage and what makes them unique in the first place, because I feel like when I first started buying luxury, each house felt like it was a different vibe. Now it feels like they're all very similar vibe, and I think they really need to figure out what differentiates each brand from one another so the customers can then go back to them. I also feel like the creative directors playing musical chairs is making a huge impact on the fact that a lot of the brands kind of look copy paste from one another. My friend calls it same bitch, different font, and I 100% see it. Because in the last couple years, they've all kind of moved from place to place. I know Demna just went from Balenciaga to Gucci, Jonathan Anderson just went to Dior, so they're all kind of playing musical chairs amongst themselves, and they're taking a lot of their very similar designs and their ideas from the previous house into their new house, which is great, but I also think that we could have a very fresh set of eyes. There's a certain appeal when you bring in, for example, Jonathan Anderson, right? I think that there's a big fan base that they've already built that will then follow him from Loewe to Dior. But I also feel like a lot can be said about bringing in a new and fresh designer, bring in some new designs. At the same time, a lot of these brands, they already have a name for themselves. If people want to shop at Dior, they're already going to shop at Dior. They don't give a shit who the creative director is, as long as it's not ugly. And so I feel like if they already know and like the brand or the style, they're gonna go for that. They don't really care who the creative director is. And I think that could be a really good opportunity to bring in a fresh and diverse perspective that we wouldn't normally get, because a lot of the creative directors right now are just playing musical chairs. The next thing I want to touch on is, I know it's maybe a little bit more of a me problem, but I have wider feet. I think I have flatter and wider feet than usual. So a lot of the designer shoes that I come across, and I've done reviews on designer shoes and everything, they're just not very comfortable. And it could be a personal problem, but it can't just be me, okay? Like, I don't feel like I have the widest feet in the world, and I can't imagine other people find these shoes comfortable. I also can't imagine that it is that difficult to create comfortable shoes, because I can get comfortable shoes at Target. I can get them at Dolce Vita. Dolce Vita is what, $100, $150. So I know you can create comfortable shoes. I know you can create and design beautiful looking comfortable shoes. But why are all the shoes uncomfortable? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me, and I can't wrap my brain around it because it just doesn't make sense. Personally, would love to see our designers creating more comfortable shoes. I know Louboutin kind of stepped into this with the Miss Z, which is like Zendaya's go-to pump. I think they did like a custom shoe for her where the red bottoms don't fade. They're a little bit more comfortable, you know, yada, yada, yada. But I'd love to see that be the main goal, because I don't understand why we are forced to wear uncomfortable shoes when there are comfortable and pretty alternatives. It's not like you're compromising with comfort and aesthetic. Like, it can be both. Brands do it all the time, but why don't we see that in luxury houses? And then the next one is a little bit more focused on jewelry. I've kind of been in my jewelry era recently. So I just got this piece done for my birthday. It's like a floating pear. I got my second half eternity band, and then last year I did my tennis necklace. So I've very much been in my jewelry era, and I feel like my go-to houses for jewelry are Tiffany, and I want to be a Cartier girly. So I want to go to these brands, I want to shop with them. But again, there's nothing to get. And I feel like part of the problem is that they stick with their key collections. So for example, Cartier, that's the Love, the Just Include. With Tiffany, that's the Knot, the Tea, the Hardware, like those kind of collections. First of all, there's very limited additions to these designs. Like, I will go on Tiffany's website maybe once a month and I'll sort new to Tiffany, and it's like the same shit. Like, they don't really come out with new designs. And if they are coming out with new designs, it's within that same collection. So for example, the Knot collection, they recently released these earrings, or the Tea collection, they recently released these like little studs. They have like a mini bracelet now. So they're adding these smaller things within the collection, but to be honest, I already have a Knot necklace. I don't know, the average person is going to buy the necklace and then buy the matching earrings and then buy the bracelet and then buy multiple bracelets because they have the thin one, they have the thicker one, they have one with diamonds, they have one without diamonds. Like, the average customer base is not going to buy the entire set. So I really feel like more is more. You can come out with different designs, different collections, all within like under the house to get people to continue shopping more and more and more. I kind of think about this like with Louis Vuitton. They have the monogram canvas, obviously. They have different types of canvas as well, but then you can also move into their leather section. You can get the empreinte, you can get epi. There's just more variation within the brand that allows customers to keep coming back. Because to be honest, if I already have the Knot necklace, I'm probably not gonna buy the earrings, I'm not gonna buy the bracelet. I would move into a different collection, but I already have the Tea, I already have the Atlas, I have the Return to Tiffany, I have the Elsa Peretti. I already have most of the collection throughout my years, so there's nothing that's drawing me in to buy more. And the last thing, a little bit more of kind of like umbrella term, but it kind of, I feel like encompasses a lot of the things that we've already talked about, is just more innovation. I feel like the brands in general have just been so boring. There's so much to be done with innovation in terms of handbags, right? Like, a bag being worn multiple ways should be the bare minimum. I know I talk about this a lot because I'm all about the versatility. I want to be able to wear it as a shoulder bag and as crossbody, or top handle to crossbody. Like, I feel like that is the bare minimum. I remember back in the day, Chloe used to have this bracelet bag. I think it was like on the Marcy, so you could wear it as a crossbody, but you could also like wear it as a bracelet. How can we mix handbags and crossover with jewelry so it becomes more of a statement? It looks different. I think Chloe has a very distinct and unique look compared to the other brands. I know Bottega didn't officially do this, but the Bottega Andiamo, you can take off the strap, you can wear the bag as a top handle, and then use the strap as a belt. Like, that is such a creative way to wear a bag and style it different ways, because a ton of people can have the same bag as you, but you want to be able to style it to match your personal taste and your fashion choices. I think another thing that I'd like to see more of is more incorporation with technology as well. It's been no secret that, you know, tech has taken over our world. I think my screen time on my phone is like 8 hours a day. And so I know Hermes and Apple did a collaboration with the Apple Watch. To be honest, I don't know anyone that's actually bought that, but it's like maybe double the price of the regular Apple Watch. And I think what's different is the strap. I honestly didn't look too much into it because I have no desire to get an Apple Watch. But I think another thing that a lot of people have been talking about is the Aura Ring, or any kind of like wearable ring technology. They don't like it because it's ugly. And that's the biggest thing that I didn't get one either. I would love to know my sleep score. I would love to know what part of the day I'm most stressed. But it's just so ugly. And I know people are not wearing it as a fashion statement, but I have seen people stack the Aura Ring with a diamond band and make it look cuter. And I think you can do that. You can achieve that look. I think there's a huge gap in wearable technology that also looks fashionable. And so maybe that's collaborating with Tiffany. Maybe that's collaborating with Cartier. Maybe that's designing a ring that looks nice, but is also functional and has the technology components that we're looking for when we're wearing these things. And then I think the last part of like innovation that I think I'd really enjoy seeing more is brands focusing more on that circular effect when it comes to fashion. I think we all know in general how much waste fashion contributes into the world, right? And I think trends are just moving faster and faster and faster these days with the speed of social media. I know Coach has recently introduced like a reloved series, so you're able to bring back your old Coach bag, trade it in for a certain value, and then buy something new. I don't know exactly what they do with that, but I would assume they kind of like upcycle that leather, things like that. I know Valentino has done something similar where you're able to bring in some of your older Valentino designs into a specific store. And I know Gucci has the Gucci Vault, very similar idea. And I think it's a really great idea to then help the brands keep things within the house itself, because I can buy a Valentino bag, I can buy a Gucci bag. After 2 years, I'm done with it. Then I take it to a consignment store. I take it to Fashion File, I take it to Rebag, I take it to a smaller business, and then that goes to someone else, which is great. But there's also a lot of risk when working with a consignment store. I know there's been a lot of controversy with the Real, people getting things sent back to them that wasn't in the original condition, you know, all the things. So I think it's really great if you can keep it in-house. I've also seen Coach with Coachtopia, right? So they've been able to upcycle a lot of scrap material, different leathers, things like that, to create these new styles that are on the lower price points. With the way the economy is right now, with the way that consumers are really trying to be thoughtful about their purchases and which brands that they're supporting, it doesn't surprise me that LVMH, Kering are reporting lower sales. And so I think it really should be on them to think about what can they do next to continue to lure in these customers, because a lot of people now are flocking to more affordable brands like Coach, Palain, Demelier, Portland Leather, contemporary mid-tier luxury brands. I'm sure it's for a lot of reasons, but I think what it boils down to is the fact that there's nothing exciting in the luxury market right now. It feels like musical chairs with the creative directors. It's the same bitch, different font. It's the same bag with different logos on it. And so it's really nothing exciting. And to be honest, if I already have one black shoulder bag, I'm probably not going to buy 3 others from 3 different brands. So that sums it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this was kind of insightful for you guys and you like these types of videos. I know it's a little bit more of a rambling type of video, but I want to shop at these brands and I have this passion of shopping in luxury. I also partially need to spend money to then create content for you guys. But I just have felt so bored and so uninspired recently, and I genuinely know I cannot be the only one. So let me know in the comments if there's anything else you would like to see from these brands, if you agree with this video. If you disagree, I am open to all opinions. Would love to chat more in the comments, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll leave another video for you guys here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!